Okay, good morning everybody, Baruch Hashem. We're going to start this month. The halachas shurim normally are given at this time, but we're going to discuss a little bit of an inyanim of Elul. All of us a few days ago received an invitation. I don't know if you saw it, I don't know if you noticed it, I don't know if you really took heed to such an incredible invitation, that you received an invitation from the Melech Malchei Amlochim to stand in din, to stand in judgment. And Be'ez Hashem, in less than a month, we're going to be standing here in this very Mokim, in this very Beis HaMedrash, and we're going to be pleading for our lives. I want to spend a few minutes today, normally this is a halacha shir, but I want to spend a few minutes on understanding and maybe going into a little bit of an idea of what we're meant to be doing in the next few days, in the next few weeks, specifically at this incredible time of Elul. You know, they always bring a famous mashal that a person's walking down the street, and as he's walking down the street, he sees a $100 bill floating down. This is gavaldik. It's raining money from Shamayim. He takes the $100 bill, pockets it, and thinks, wow, what a wonderful day. He keeps walking a few more steps, another $100 bill comes down. He said, this is gavaldik. My lucky day. It's raining money from Shamayim. Wow. And then all of a sudden he looks up, and he sees a little child, a 2.5, looks like maybe a 3-year-old child, sitting on what we call the marpeset, the balcony, the porch, with their feet dangling down, holding its tati's wallet. And it's got his tati's wallet, and slowly but surely there's pieces of paper that are pretty cool. He's just dropping them down, very sweet. And this guy on the street is watching this, and he's like, this is incredible. I'm just going to stand there like this and accept what Hashgacha Pratis, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me to be here at this time. I have to take it. What can I do? So he's there, and he's watching the scene. And all of a sudden he sees the father come in, and he sees his son doing that. He's like, what, are you crazy? And he takes the wallet away from him, and he pulls the child back inside, but obviously he's lost all the money. And they always say that it's the same thing, that we're often like that child. That child of 2.5, 3-year-old has no idea that those pieces of paper are actually worth money, and you can actually do something with it. We have the same thing. We have time, we have opportunities, and we sometimes just throw it out. We just waste it. And that's a shame. We spoke about it a bit more last night. The Ramban says an amazing lashon about Chodesh Elul. The Ramban says, "Shezeh ois v'remez la'Kadosh Baruch Hu, v'yiskavu sheyesh ben Yisrael la'avim shebashamayim." Zuk the Ramban. You know what an Elul is? You know what this month is? It shows the gavaldige kirvus, the love, the ava that the Rabbeinu Shalom has for Klal Yisrael. That the Rabbeinu Shalom says, you know what? I'm not just going to tell you, go to Rosh Hashanah. But have a preparation, have time to prepare, have time to speak, have time to be able to dedicate time, effort to improving yourself, to seeing what you could do better. Famous mashal, I think this is a true story of a Yid, a chassid of the Gerer Rebbe. And how it works by the Gerer Rebbe is Rosh Hashanah by night. Everybody files past the Gerer Rebbe, and you get a Gudjontev, a Gityor, whatever it is that the Rebbe says, and the Hasidim wait a whole year for this. This is the most amazing opportunity that the Rebbe face to face. I don't have to make an appointment. I don't have to wait. I don't have to be a big rich guy. I can just go to the Rebbe on Rosh Hashanah and I get mamash 2-3 seconds, but I get a good yonta from the Rebbe. It's worth everything. And they wait on the line for hours upon hours, and they wait for this opportunity every single year. And there was this Hasidic guy that was so excited for his opportunity to be able to speak to the Rebbe. And he's waiting on the line. And finally, it's getting closer and closer, and you can imagine the anticipation, the excitement. Finally, he's getting closer and closer, face to face to the Rebbe. How many times do you get such an opportunity? And as he gets face to face to the Rebbe, he was dying to ask the Rebbe something. Specifically, one of his children needed a shidduch, or was a parnasa that he needed something specific. And he was going to ask the Rebbe in those 2 seconds, give me a bracha for a shidduch for one of my children. Give me a bracha for parnasa. And he got to the Rebbe. And he was so in awe. He just couldn't believe it, that he started to stutter. And sometimes he did that. He stuttered sometimes when he got nervous. He didn't know what to say. Before you know it, the Gabba pushed him away. Next, and it's gone. It's got to wait till next year. He missed the opportunity. And they say it's the same thing. His neighbor, the one behind him, saw the whole situation and said to me, you made a big mistake. He said, why? I waited a whole year for this. I was so excited to see the Rebbe. He said, you should have started speaking before you got to the Rebbe. You should have, before you got to the actual Rebbe, you should have started to speak, and this way, by the time you would have got there, you would have been able to say something. We can't just show up to a Rosh Hashanah. We've got all the Art Scroll, Machzorim, and all the Art Scroll Gewaldige Chizuk Svarim, which are amazing. But you can't just rock up to a Rosh Hashanah, come down the stairs, roll into the base medrash. All right, God, here I am. Give me another year. It doesn't work. You've got to start speaking before. You've got to start speaking before you get there. Now's the time. This is Elul. The Heilige Baal HaTanya writes that if Elul is a time of such kirvus Elokim, a time where the Rabbeinu Shalom wants to be so close to us, so the Baal HaTanya, we should make it into a Yom Tov. It's a time that the Rabbeinu Shalom wants to spend time with us. It's a time that the Rabbeinu Shalom wants to hear from us. The Satmar Rebbe would cry when he said over the famous words that all the Musasfarim bring, Arizal, whatever, that the Rabbeinu Shalom Kaviyachal is walking around, he's in the fields, he's waiting to hear from us. The Satmar Rebbe would cry. Can you imagine what it means? What an opportunity we have to talk to the Rabbeinu Shalom, to improve ourselves, to look into our lives, what we could do better. What an opportunity this is, and we sometimes just waste it. The Chidush Harim, the Ger Rebbe writes, in the Kutim Harim, he writes, Ki Chodesh Elul Matana Toivahu. It's an incredible present. The Rabbeinu Shalom said, I'm not just going to give you a day of judgment, I'm going to give you a month before to be able to connect, to be able to talk, to be able to improve. That's what we're doing over here. That's what it's all about. The Divrei Chaim, the Heilige Divrei Chaim of Sons, once said over the following thing. And he said, how often do we make the same mistake that we come into Elul, or we come into Slichas, we come into Erev Rosh Hashanah says to make Tshuva, Erev Yom Kippur, and we make Kabbalahs. And each one to their own should really sit down for a moment or two and he think to himself, what can I improve on? Maybe it's Birchas Hamazon, maybe it's Negelwasser, maybe it's Tzitzis, maybe it's davening on time, speaking in davening, whatever it may be, each one to their own. What can we do to improve ourselves? And then often we find ourselves in the same situation as we were last year. And the Divrei Chaim of Sons says, a Mordecai Moshel, he says, you have a parent that comes home one day to the children in the house with an egg. Now these children are poor, they've never seen an egg for months. They were so excited. Wow, we have an egg. This is amazing. Let's cook the egg. Let's put some onions in it. We'll divide it with all the children. Gewaldig, we're going to have an egg. This is amazing. And the mother says, no. We're not going to eat this egg. What do you mean? Why are we not going to eat the egg? What's the point of the egg? We're going to put it under a hen. And we're going to be able to make sure that we get more eggs. And when we have more eggs, wow, that means we're going to have like an egg each. Once we have more eggs, wonderful. Each child's going to have their own egg. No. Because we're going to take those eggs and we're going to make sure that they hatch eventually. And when they hatch, we're going to have chickens. Wow! That means we're going to be able to eat chickens. No. Because those chickens are going to produce more eggs and more chickens. And before you know it, we're going to have a whole farm. And they're all excited, jumping up and down. And before you know it, the egg smashes on the floor. All the wonderful ideas, all the wonderful plans, out the window. So the Divrei Chaim from Sons, how many times do we do the same thing? We make ideas. Yeah, this year, Gewaldig Rebbe, this Elul, unbelievable. Mamish, you're never going to walk in and not see me with my tefillin on ready by the Beis Medrash. You don't understand, I'm a different person now. What do you mean? Avada, how many times? But they mean it. I'm Chas v'Shalom. Avada, we mean it. We really want to. We want to. But sometimes our plans fall through. And sometimes we put ourselves in the same situation where Avigdor Miller, Zatzal, once said over, a CEO of a very large company hired a specific person that was his job was to be able to go through the books, the accounts, and tell them what they're doing wrong, and tell them how they can improve, and tell them, for example, I have a Talmud that's in America, that his job is to go around to all the nursing homes and to see if they're hiring too many people, if they're paying too high of a salary, if they can get rid of some of the staff. His job is to save the company money. Now, can you imagine the setup of Avigdor Miller? If this guy walks into the company, spends days and days and days checking the accounts, looks at everything and says, wonderful, you're doing great. So Avigdor Miller, the CEO of the company, says, you crazy? That's not what I hired you for. That's not why I wanted you. I wanted you to criticize. I wanted you to find what we could do better. If we walk into this time of year and we say, we're good, I think I'm fine. I like the way I am right now. Leave me alone. I'm good. I'm fine the way I am. Then we have a problem. We have to realize what we can do and how we can improve. I always say over the following, but I really, it resonates so well this time of year. The mashal goes like this. A very wealthy fellow had a wine cellar. And this was a wine cellar like none other. This was a wine cellar going under his entire house. The temperature set at this wine cellar was specific so that all the wines could be able to mature and improve. It was an amazing, amazing sight just to see the wine cellar, the way it was organized. The wines that were in there were worth fortunes of money. Now, this wealthy fellow would entertain very, very choshev guests. And whenever he did so, he made sure that he got a nice bottle of wine that would fit exactly the meal that they were serving. One particular day, they had a very, very important, a very distinguished guest that came in. So the boss, the owner, the rich man says to his butler, okay, I need a bottle of wine, but not any bottle of wine. I need a choshev a bottle of wine. I want you to go down to the cellar, go down to the third aisle, go all the way down on the left, right by the wall, there's a case of wine. It says on it, 1981. I need you to take a bottle of wine and bring it up. It's a special bottle of wine. I keep that crate of wine for very special occasions. Now's one of them, I want you to bring it up. He gave him precise instructions. It shouldn't have taken him very long to get the bottle of wine. In the meantime, they're starting the meal, they're schmoozing, and the rich man's looking at his watch like, where's the butler? Where is he? What's going on? What's taking so long? I gave him instructions, not a guest to find it. So he says to the guest, don't worry, he's handling it very carefully, he's slowly bringing it up the stairs. It's a very expensive bottle of wine. It's not just rip it out the crate and off you go. So I need a few more minutes. So it's a few more minutes, and a few more minutes, 20 minutes. What takes him so long? I understand it's a big wine cellar, but I gave him the instructions. What takes so long? The rich man's getting really upset. By now he's really upset. Where is he? What's going on? He's embarrassing me. He's embarrassing me in front of my distinguished guest. It's not right. So he goes down. He says, that's it. Excuse me for a minute. He says to his guest, I'd like to go down and check on the butler. Maybe he tripped. Maybe he fell. Maybe something's wrong. Maybe something's the matter. I don't know. He goes down. He opens the door of the cellar. And all of a sudden, he opens the door. It's interesting. Normally it doesn't smell because all the bottles are closed. He smells something. That's weird. He goes down the cellar stairs. And as he's getting closer and closer to the bottom, the smell gets much stronger of a smell. What's going on? Doesn't understand what's going on. Now, it's a very dark place. The way to do it is you can't have the light there. You can't put on lights. It destroys the wine. It has to be very, very dim, extremely dim. So as he gets down to the bottom floor, he steps on the ground, and there's wine. Like it's liquid everywhere. He thinks it's wine. He smells it's wine. He's like, what is going on over here? This guy's, what? What's going on? He walks past and he can see, very dimly lit, but he can see that bottles of wine are smashed all over the place. What is going on? What has he done? Do you know how expensive this wine is? Do you know how good this wine is? Do you know what this is all about? There's wine all over the place. There's bottles smashed everywhere. I'm going to kill this guy. And he's looking for him and he's looking for him. Where is he? And he wants to find him. He's going to by now he's got smoke coming out of his nostrils and his ear. I'm going to mummish. I'm going to find him. I'm going to pin him up to the wall. I'm going to punch him, punch by punch. I'm going to kill him. This is my wine collection that I've been doing for years. Where is he? There's wine smashed everywhere. Till he finally finds him. He finds him at the end of the cellar. At the end of the cellar, there was a little couch. Because sometimes the guy that came to take all the temperatures and everything had to sit there for a while. So they made like a little comfortable little couch. So he sees the butler there on the couch. But he's not just sitting on the couch. His feet are up. He's smoking a cigar, drinking a glass of wine, smiling and saying, oh, boss, can I have a raise? What are you, crazy? The answer is so simple. We do the same thing. There we are the whole year, smashing bottles of wine all over the place. Comes to Rosh Hashanah. We want a raise. We want more money, we want a shidduch, we want health, we want parnasa, we want everything. Where have you been the whole year? Smashing bottles of wine all over the place. We have to realize we have an opportunity right now, during Elul, during this time, to be able to work on ourselves, to be able to improve ourselves, to make us better people. A father once tells his child, and we'll end with this, I have a very, very heavy cupboard. I need you to move the cupboard. I need you to move the cupboard. So the child says, sure, no problem. Goes over to the cabinet, starts to move it. Doesn't move. He tries that direction, it doesn't move. He calls his friend, doesn't work. Nothing happens. He goes over to his father and says, I'm really sorry, I tried everything I can. I can't move it. It says, way too heavy. It says, I'm really disappointed. What do you mean disappointed? I tried. What do you want me to do? I tried. So the father said, very simple. You should have asked me for help. Because if you would have asked me for help, I could have showed you how to move in a certain way that it would have moved. So the Rebbeinu Shalom to us, we come to him and say, listen, I tried. I did what I could do. What do you want from me? I'm only a human being. Come on. The Rebbeinu Shalom says, did you ask for help? Did you ask the Rebbeinu Shalom, the Melech, Malcham, Lochim for help? Because that's what we need to do. Rabbi Sai, we have the next few weeks a unique opportunity to be able to look into ourselves, into our lives, into what we're doing. Well before we come to Slichas, well before we come to Rosh Hashanah. And Be'ez Hashem, if we do this, the Rebbeinu Shalom will give us B'siyata D'Shmaya, a beautiful Zman, a beautiful month, that Be'ez Hashem will come into Rosh Hashanah much more prepared, and the Rebbeinu Shalom will give us Be'ez Hashem, Chasima Tova. Have a good day.